Every year I go to Utah and stop at Lake Powell to have some fun in the water, and every year birds migrate south to find warmer climates, and on the way some of them stop at Berkeley Pit Mine in Butte, Montana to take a break and have some fun in the water. The difference between me and the birds, aside from the fact that we are completely different species, um, is that if the birds stop and swim in the water, they get cooked from the inside out. Not fun. This is caused by the toxicity of the lake, which came about when the Berkeley Pit Lake closed and then later filled with water. Um, in order to stop the lake from contaminating groundwater sources and prevent this from happening to more bird populations and causing them to further dwindle, we must find some solutions to the problem. Today I'll be discussing causes of the problem and present some of the solutions we have at the moment. First, we have to understand the origins of the Berkeley Pit Lake. The Berkeley Pit Lake was started in 1955 to mine copper. According to the authors of the article Berkeley Pit and its impacts on the environment, it was started for a couple reasons. One main reason was that open pit mines are cheaper than underground mines, and the other is that they're much cheaper to run than underground mines. The mine eventually closed because prices decreased on copper and it was no longer feasible to run the mine in 1982. The pit had a large amount of materials that generate acid upon weathering, and it also had a far lower amount of acid-containing minerals. So what's wrong with there being a toxic lake if it's all contained? Well, for now we're fine, but if the water rises above 5,410 feet above sea level, according to the article Influence of Copper Recovery on the Water Quality of the Acidic Berkeley Pit Lake, Montana, USA, if the lake continues to rise and passes the elevation of the low point of Silver Bow Creek, where the river leaves Butte Valley, the acidic water could discharge into the creek and contaminate water, affecting organisms living in it and costing the U.S. millions of dollars on the mineral lime alone in order to treat and deacidify the water so that it's safe for humans' consumption. According to the article Berkeley Pit and Surrounding Mine Waters of Butte, the pH of the lake was found to be in the range of 4.0 to 4.1, which is pretty acidic. According to the article Health Hazards for Mining in the Butte, Montana, in 1955 a flock of snow geese landed on Berkeley Pit Lake, and then later 342 were found dead not far from the lake. For long-term prevention, we have to find a solution to the acidity of the lake as a whole. According to the article Influence of Copper Recovery on the Water Quality of the Acidic Berkeley Pit Lake in Montana, when dissolved copper was extracted from the lake and then precipitated on a scrap iron, the byproduct of the acid or of the reaction was found to drop the acidity of the lake by 25 to 30%, which is pretty substantial. For now, though, before we can start doing that on a larger scale, we have to actively keep animals away, like the snow geese, in order to keep their populations from dwindling too far. According to the documentary about the lake titled Meet the Man Who Shoots at Birds All Day to Keep Them Off of a Toxic Pit, waterfowl protection specialists use a combination of drones, remote-controlled boats, alarms, propane cannons, and rifles to scare birds off of the water so that they don't suffer the consequences of landing on the toxic lake. With all these problems, quick solutions are a high priority, but they're hard to find when more and more of these problems arise. So we need to ensure that we're being mindful of our impact on the environment and having more of a preservationist mindset rather than that of a conservationist.